Shalom. Before I begin this video, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. They continue to rule very well to this very day. That is feeding the flock through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And also shalom to the hopeful elect that is also laboring this work. This is giving you diligence to make your calling and election sure, in faith, in truth, and sincerity, and in all charity. Now, I'm going to title this video as The Case of Josiah, in which, this is something that didn't get brought out in the live stream that we did yesterday after we performed the Passover. And, we mentioned through the spirit about these other Israelite camps that are not keeping the Passover the correct way. All right. Now, they're going according to the law, of course, but the essence of the Passover, they have no understanding, because the Passover, that's a serious deal. That's a serious assembly. And that's also a serious time to where we reflect on the deliverance from the time when we was in Egypt, and also considering the captivity that we're in today, which is we're in the new Egypt, which is America. All right. Now, throughout the Passover, especially back in the ancient world, when we did perform the first Passover, it wasn't something that, Israel was, partying and, throwing parties and celebrations. No, man, it was a serious time, because that was the time when death was sweeping the land of Egypt. All right. And all the firstborn of the land of Egypt was being put to death. All right. And even today, that's why we keep it as a solemn assembly. All right. Also, that's a time to reflect on Yahushai, because Yahushai is the one who in fact killed the firstborn, all the firstborns in the land of Egypt, except for the Israelites, who did what the Lord told them to do by striking the doorpost with the blood of the lamb, and which is spiritual, because that's that ties into the day. All right, about the blood of the lamb being smeared on the doorpost. All right, but again, during that time, Yahushua was going through and killing off all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, except the Israelites. All right. And that's why, again, that's one of the reasons why we keep this as a serious assembly, a solemn assembly. All right. Now, going back to these other Israelite camps, they deem it as a celebration, a time to get together, to party, to do this and that and the third, man. There's no telling what these other Israelite camps be doing at the Passover, man. All right. It's like they're in a competition to see who has the biggest Passover. All right. Who has the biggest and best Passover in the nation of Israel. And which is not about that, man. It's not about who has the biggest and baddest Passover, or, who has the best Passover ceremony or assembly. It's not about that, man. All right. Because whenever the Passover is being kept, even the time when Yahushua was on the scene, he had a small group that was with him. He had a small assembly. It was him and his disciples. All right. He didn't have no big get together with all Israel coming over to his Passover. No, man. All right. When the Passover came by, he just had him and his disciples, which was small. All right. And I let you know that these other guys, these other Israelite camps that throw these big elaborate Passovers, they're not coming in the spirit of Yahushai. All right. If they did come in the spirit of Yahushai, then they wouldn't be holding these big, big elaborate Passovers, man. Okay. Now, again, this is going back into the case of Josiah, man. Apparently, they haven't read about the case of this particular person, Josiah, which I believe he was one of the kings of Judah. And Josiah was known in the scriptures to throw the biggest and baddest Passover around. All right. Here in the Chronicles. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and read it here. I'm going to start at verse 7. I'm going to skip around a little bit because it's a lot. And this whole chapter is about Josiah. All right. But I'm going to skip around a little bit. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 35, verse 7. It says, "And Josiah gave to the people of the flock lambs and kids, all for the Passover offerings for all that were present, to the number of 30,000 and 3,000 bullocks. These were of the king's substance." Right. So he were presenting the number of 30,000 and 3,000 bullocks. All right. That was his substance. Right. I'm gonna skip down a little bit because it's going to the Levites. Okay, I'm gonna skip down to verse 14. And afterward they made ready for themselves and for the priests, because the priests, the sons of Aaron, were busied in offering of burnt offerings and the fat until night. Therefore the Levites prepared for themselves and for the priests, the sons of Aaron. And the singers, the sons of Asaph, were in their place, according to the commandment of David, and Asaph and Heman and Jeduthun, I believe that's how you pronounce it, the king's seer, and the porters waited at every gate. They might not depart from their service, for their brethren, the Levites, prepared for them. Right. So the singers were prepared. Right. So all the service of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua was prepared the same day to keep the Passover and to offer burnt offerings upon the altar of the Lord, according to the commandment of King Josiah. All right. Verse 17. And the children of Israel that were present kept the Passover at that time and the feast of unleavened bread 7 days. And this is the point. It says, "And there was no Passover like to that kept in Israel from the days of Samuel the prophet. Neither did all the kings of Israel keep such a Passover as Josiah kept, and the priests and the Levites and all Judah and Israel that were present, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. In the 18th year of the reign of Josiah was the Passover kept." See, now, again, the scripture is telling you that Josiah kept the baddest Passover around, man. All right, it was no other Passover like his. Okay, now, I'm gonna skip down a little bit. Verse 21. All right, so even he kept the biggest and baddest Passover around, still that didn't deliver him from death. All right. He still went off, man. He still was going off. All right. And he ended up dying in the end. All right. Verse 21 said, "But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, What have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah?" All right. And I believe this is going to the Egyptians. Right. It says, "I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war. For the Most High commanded me to make haste, forbear thee from meddling with the Most High, who is with me, that he destroy thee not." So he's telling him, look, the Most High ordained me to go out to make war with this house. All right. So it's best that you don't meddle with the Most High, who is with him. All right. Because the Lord has delivered that house into his hand, that he doesn't destroy him. All right. But here it is, Josiah being hard-hearted, right? Being a nigga. He went out and he went out anyway. Verse 22. "Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself that he might fight with him, and hearkened not unto the words of Necho from the mouth of the Most High, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. And the archer shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, Have me away, for I am sore wounded. His servants therefore took him out of that chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had, and they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died, and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his fathers. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah. And Jeremiah lamented for Josiah, and all the singing men and the singing women spake of Josiah in their lamentations to this day. and made them an ordinance in Israel. And behold, they are written in the Lamentations. All right. So again, Josiah, he held the best Passover, man. The biggest and the most elaborate and lucrative Passover there is. But guess what? In the end, he was still being a nigga, and he went out and he went out against the words of the Most High, because really the Most High ordained the Egyptians to go out and make war. All right, and he didn't understand that, but he went out anyway and ended up dying. All right, because he was meddling with the Most High. All right. So even though you have a person that'll hold a big Passover celebration, right? But in the end, even after everything's said and done, it doesn't matter, because if you coming up against what Yahweh Shemel Shah set forth, and you going against his will, guess what, man? You're gonna die anyway, man. All right, it doesn't matter. All right. But like I mentioned before, man, that's the case of these other Israelite camps, because guess what? They're not doing the will of the Most High. They're not doing the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right. But let me go ahead and grab this next precept here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 2. Right? It said, "It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart." See? So it's better to go into the house of mourning than to go in the house of feasting. And that's what you see with these other Israelite camps. They're going into the house. They made themselves a house of feasting. All right? Instead of being in the type of spirit, in the serious spirit, right? In the mournful spirit. And that the Lord can see that acceptable in his sight. All right? Because it's like it says right here, it says, "For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart." So that the house of feasting is the end of all men. So, say the elect that is a part of these other Israelite camps, in which we believe they're going to come out of those other Israelite camps. And basically, those camps, man, they're going to be done away with. All right. They're going to be done away with, and the Lord's going to make sure of that, man. All right. Because they're not doing the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. All right. Now, continuing on at verse 3, it says, "Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better." And that's true. All right. The sadness of the countenance of the heart, it makes it better. Okay. Verse 4 says, "The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth." Right. So for a fact, man, not everybody in these other Israelite camps are part of the elect, man. All right. So the house of fools reside. The heart of fools is in the house of mirth. All right. Celebrations. Okay. Here, Brother Nakamp made mention that I believe it's IUIC, or either ISUBK or IUIC, don't know which one, but they invited one of the famous singers, R&B singers, I believe it's Boys to Men. All right. Now, why would you have a Passover and you invite a group like Boys to Men, R&B singers, who don't care about the Passover or care anything about Yahweh Shemel Shai, but you invite them to come out to your Passover to sing songs, right? Just for your own pleasure. See what I mean? That's why the Lord soon, man, we already know that the Lord's going to do something heavy to these other camps, man. He's gonna make sure that these other camps are done away with, man. All right? Because the Lord's not with that. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and end it off on that note. The point's been made. But our Lord's will is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. And, that just goes to show you that, in the times that we're in right now, it's getting even more serious. All right? And as these other Israelite camps continue in their folly, the Lord's going to make himself known to these other camps. All right? And that's going to be the end of it. Okay? Because it's only a certain amount of time. You know, the Lord is long suffering, right? But he's not going to suffer for long, man. Okay? It's going to be a point in time where he's going to be apt and ready to spring into action. Okay? All right? And once again, you know, this was edifying to the elect. Until next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And also shalom, peace and safety, and salutations to the whole elect that is plowing his will in his work, giving your diligence to make your calling and election sure, in faith, in truth and sincerity, and all charity. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.